Okay, chapter 3.6. Choose a multiplication method. Basically, we have two methods. The first one is partial products. And the second one is called regrouping. And this should be a review. You have done this already. Okay? Regrouping is sort of traditional multiplication, and partial products is close. It's similar. So the first example is to use partial products to multiply 15 times 25. And we're going to write that, 25 times 15. Either way is fine. You can put whichever one you want on top. And then we're going to recognize what we have. This 1 times this 2 is really 10 times 20, or 10 times 2 tens. Okay, 10 times 20. They like to call it 2 tens because we can easily do 10 times 2. But we're going to just do 10 times 2 and add the 0. Alright, so 10 times 20 is 200. Okay? The next one, so this first one we just multiply the tens by the tens. The second one we multiply the tens times the fives. So that ends up being 10 times 5. Because this is not 50, this is just 5. So then it's 10 times 5 is 50. And that's our second one. And the third one is this direction. 5 times 2 tenths, or 20 times 5. 5 times 2 tens. Alright, and so then we're just going to take each piece here. 5 times 20 is 100. Now 5 times 2 is 10, plus one more 0 is where you get the 100 from. And then the last one is both of the ones places. So the last one is 5 times 5. And that's just equal to 25. You have to, one of the things that's important when you're doing this is that you line up the ones places, you line up the tens places, and then you line up the 100s places. If you don't do that, it's really hard to get the correct answer. But zeros plus 5, 5 plus 2, and 2 plus 1. So 375 is a good way to do that. If you were drawing the picture, like it asks you to do to check your work, that picture is going to just be a box. And it's going to have 20 cut into 25 cut into 2 pieces and 15 cut into 2 pieces. And it doesn't matter, well, it matters a little, but it doesn't matter too much if you get it perfect. So that's 25. 20 times 20 plus 5 is 25. And 10 plus 5 is 15. And so then you just fill in each of these pieces. 10 times 20 is 200. 5 times 20 is 100. 10 times 5 is 50. And 5 times 5 is 25. And then you add them all together. So this is the model when you draw the picture. Okay? Now the second one is regrouping. This looks at the next page. It's 20 times 15, 15 times 20. It's the same problem, but we do it kind of the traditional way by regrouping 25 times 15. Okay, so just to make sure, we have to multiply this first number 5 times 25. But we just start backwards by starting straight up here. 5 times 5 is 25, and we have to carry that 2 over to the tens place. That's important. And then 5 times 2 is 10. It's really 5 times 20, but 5 times 2 is 10 plus 2 is 12, and we get 125. That's sort of the same as if we had gotten these two first, 125. In the second group, let me change colors, we have to start with a 0 because this 1 stands for a 10. Okay, and it doesn't show you that in the book, but that's how everybody seems to still teach multiplication, so we're going to make sure that we don't miss this. 10 times 5 is 50, right? So we would put our 5 up here and our 0 down here. One times 5 is 5. Oh my. We don't have to carry that 5 because it fits. See, we go here where we have 50. 10 times 5 is 50. 1 times 5 is 5. That's why we put the 0 there, so that we can just not think about it in tens. And then 1 times 2 is 2. And this is really that 10 times 20, which is 200. And that would be these two. 200 plus 50 do end up equaling 250. And then we can go ahead and add 5. 2 plus 5 is 7. So that's the same thing that we did when we got over here. And 1 plus 2 is 3. So this one takes up a little bit less space and is really the way we want you to do multiplication. But the partial products help us to understand what's happening when we multiply these numbers. Okay, that's really your whole lesson, and it asks you to choose. It does ask you to estimate too, and I don't want you to forget that. You have to estimate. For instance, if they give you 84 times 53, you need to think in your head that that's like 80 times 50. And 8 times 5 is 40, plus those two zeros is 4,000. These two zeros come down. Okay, 8 times 5 is 40. Okay, good. So then we multiply. 3 times 4 is 12. And 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 is 25. And we add our 0 so that we don't have to think about this as 50. We can think about it as 5 times 4 is 20. And we're going to carry our 2 up there. And it's really 50 times 4, which would be 200, and so that works. And then 5 times 8 is 40, plus 2. 40 plus 2 is 42. And then we can add, and we get 2 plus 0, 5 plus 0, 2 plus 2, and we have our answer is 4,452. And it makes sense that our answer is bigger than our estimate because we rounded this down to 80 and we rounded this down to 50. So our real answer should be a little bit bigger than our estimate. And so that's a great estimate. That's how you do it. Good luck.